Hello, friends. Sorry it's been a while, but I'm back to play some more chess. We're going to see how we do. It's been a few, so might be a little sluggish here. We get a French invitation to a French, and I have a history with the Tarrasch, but more recently the Chigorin. Um, I think I'm just going to go for a classical French here. Just accept the big center and maybe go for the win hour. Try something different. That's usually when I get in trouble, though. I have more history with the Terrash. I used to play the Exchange back in the day, too. So what do I do here? think I'm just going to go for a win on. Okay. I think here, I mean, Black has the idea of C5, challenging the pawn base. And I think I recently watched a game review where knight E2 here is a move. So that C3 can be played. And I think I'm going to go that direction. Was this World Championship? I think this was played in the recent World Championship match between Ding Liren and Gukesh. I think we might be somewhere in those lines because this looks familiar, and I think that's where I watched it. Those are the only game reviews I watched recently. So, um, hmm, A5. I think. Hmm, maybe continuing here with the knight to free this bishop out so that I can get castle. I think that's a good idea. Maybe queen here. And we're looking at, I did that without thinking too much, but I'd kind of thought about it on the previous moves. I just want to guard this square in case takes here, and then the c pawn's forced to take back. Now this knight would be coming in here, so that's pinning the pawn. And now we will simply unpin. And if the queen comes back to attack b2, we've got queen c2. But we might be losing that pawn then. Because takes, 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 takes. Am I gambiting a pawn here? Oof. Am I losing a central pawn? What do I do with queen here? Oh, I just take and attack the queen. And then bishop takes, attacking f2. And that doesn't look so good. Takes, takes, block, takes, or not with the bishop, but with the knight, takes, and then I pin. Can pin the knight there. He takes this. I take, attacking the queen and the knight, so he can't take the pawn. This all feels vaguely familiar. Okay, so I take here. I take here, and then I block with the knight. And I give him this. Knight takes here. Then what? Be careful about where my queen goes. I'm expecting knight takes pawn. But then what? I just, oh, he takes with this knight. He kind of tricks here. No, queen can take there. He doesn't have to take with the F pawn. Um, hmm. I think I need to protect this pawn. Do I do it with the rook or the queen? I'm gonna say the queen. Because I think the knight wants to come here. I don't know where I want the rook yet. I probably want the rook on D rather than guarding this pawn. So if the knight comes here, I'm just going to take it and get castled. Bishop takes, pawn takes, the knight's got to move. Now that attacks here. So I don't have time to pin because he's attacking my queen here. So I defend the knight immediately. I really wish my queen was back here now because maybe I do have tricks here. No? Maybe in the future I have tricks there. For now, I think I protect my knight. Am I going to be down two pawns? I am. Well, let's get the rook centralized at least. Gain a tempo back and play against these two central pawns as best I can. I'm not really interested in trading queens. I want to keep the queens on the board, or I'm just going to get steamrolled. So, no, thank you. And maybe I swap the rook over here after figuring out what I want to do with this light squared bishop. That's a forced trade. So That's a bummer, but I guess we just get our bishop out. Maybe even leave our king in the center because the queens are going to be off. I'm just down 2 pawns here, I think. Hmm. Castle to break the pin. Yeah. Now, if he gives me the chance to save my queen, I'm saving my queen. But he does not. And the future looks dismal. Two central pawns down. No queens on the board, but my bishop's better than his for the moment. There's something to celebrate. His knight's better than mine, though. The knight is a little silly over here on the edge. He connects his rooks. Back here, he pushes the pawn. I retreat. Now we go here, opposite the king, and threaten this pawn. I don't know why he chose to leave his king in the center. I guess I was contemplating it briefly too with the queens off the board, but I did castle. Um, Not as big of a deal with the queens off the board, but the rooks still make it interesting. So he's going to need to move his king again. Maybe he just brings his king up. Maybe he just brings his king up. And I push f4 to keep this pawn at bay. Try to get him locked into light squared pawns in the middle to keep his bishop bad. I think f4 is my push. um, my next move to keep fighting over the center. Oh, he just protects it. Okay. Well, I can check and attack this pawn. I'm not sure that taking it is in my best interest because then rook g8 and these two pieces line up nicely. So I don't know if I want to take it, but it does get my knight into the game. And maybe I can reposition it over here to threaten the bishop or hmm. Why'd I do that? I was just saying my move is f4. I should have pushed f4. I should have pushed f4 to keep the pawns from pushing. Forgot my own plan. F4 was a better move here. Moved the knight in prematurely. Maybe I retreat the knight here and keep this pawn from pushing by attacking this pawn. And then I've got an opportunity to push f4. That's an idea. We'll go with that. Might allow the knight to come in here and swap it off. We're going to go f4. Now if knight here, bishop takes, pawn takes, and then maybe I just take control of the open file. And my knight looks a bit better than his bishop, though he just plants his bishop here. Then I can takes, get a pawn back. He doesn't go for the knight maneuver. What if I invite him really, really nice? Like, just send him a gold wrapped invitation to fork my rook and king, just to take this off the board. Because the knight's better than the bishop. I would like that a lot, I think. So let's improve our king's position. Now we've got the open file. His bishop is just biting into his own pieces. I can bring the knight up here. I don't want to give this square up, I don't think. Maybe I do. Oh, he's gonna. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm gonna get to plant my knight up here. Bring my king up to blockade the pawn. If he challenges my file, I'm gonna let him take. So maybe my next move is it's either knight here, king here, or g3. Actually, very much like g3 to keep this pawn from advancing and to get my light square pawn on a dark square. So all my pawns are dark square. He's going to be left with light square bishop. I'm going to have a knight to dance around. So let's put his king on the back rank and move our king into the game. Maybe knight here was better. Because now he's got f6, where he wouldn't have previously, because the knight would have been attacking. The knight should have come here first. That was a hasty move on my part. The king could have come up after. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm still down 2 pawns, but my knight is far superior to his bishop. He lets me split these pawns. It might have some problems. So then I'll be taking this. Knight's going to keep the king out of here. So there's none of this. If he kicks my knight, I get this pawn. So maybe something like this to protect this pawn, and then kicking the knight allows him to make a little bit of progress. Guess he could still come here and then kick the knight. A check, king comes forward. Knight here attacking the pawn. Bishop back defending it. And then what? Need my knight here. I actually need it where the king is. I need it where the king is. How do I make that happen? Here, 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 here. Those are the knight jumps, away from where the king is. Bishop's guarding this square. I can't let him trade bishop for knight, so that's not going to work. No, he can't push the king up because oh, I'm boxing shadows here. He can't push the king up because it's going to abandon this pawn. Ah, all right. Boxing shadows. You can come back here, but that doesn't let his king get like in here. I've got to keep the king out of here because if he attacks my base, the base of my pawns, then I'm just toast. 3 minutes 44 seconds. So can't let this pawn run. So the king's tied down here. Best I can go is laterally this way. I can't ever step to the uh, to the fifth rank. So here, I could hit all three of these pawns. And if he protects, knight takes, bishop takes, king takes. It's black's move. Maybe the king just comes up. Over, over, over. Mm, we've got a 4-on-3 versus a 2-on-2. Though he can't back the bishop up either, because he's going to abandon this pawn. Okay, so I'm going to get this one or this one. I don't have to sack. I don't want to sack the bishop for the knight for the bishop, because the horsey is far superior here. Three minutes 40 seconds to 2:54. If he lets me pick up this edge pawn, then I think it's a draw because I'll have my 2-on-1 and he'll have his 4-on-3. He's not going to let me pick that up. He's going to save both pawns. He's going to. Why did I think that? Why did I think that I was going to win a pawn there? I'm just missing simple moves now. That's just an obvious simple move. Now the king's closer. So can I do this? Takes, takes, takes. King over, king over, king over, king over. Push, takes, takes, takes. Forward, takes, forward, take. I'm not going to catch it. Trying to get both pawns. And at 40, not going to catch it. Trying to get both pawns. Hmm. Takes, takes, takes. Over, 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 over. Down, takes, 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 takes. Push. I am going to catch that one. I think I've got to do this now. I might have rushed that. So I picked up one pawn, but it's a 4-on-3, and I'm gonna have a 2-on-1, but this one is keeping my 2 at bay. If he pushes the king, I do have a chance to pick up this pawn. Takes, takes, takes. Can push this now, though. Now I've got a passer and a fighting chance here, I think, because I can catch this pawn. And if he goes gobbling my own pawns, he's going to have this to worry about. So I think I have successfully drawn this game. Not extremely accurately. I think there's definitely some better moves I could have made in here. But I found the draw, I think. And I'll be satisfied with that since it's been weeks since I've played a long time control. Ah, so you're gonna let me if I start running, he gets this, then I'm toast. So I gotta take this. I can't give him the queening square. And if he goes this way to try and snack on these pawns, then I run and he's toast. So he's got no choice but to push this pawn so that he can stay in the square. But then I may win. This may be a winning position for me because he's gonna have to chase down this pawn. I may have snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. Maybe defeat's a bit strong. I don't know if I was ever actually like losing, but black definitely had an edge, and my knight was superior. Oh, I think that's just a losing. Wow, I don't think that was his best option. So let's check and see if we can't gobble up some pawns now. This is just completely winning. I think he might have been able to hold the draw. Maybe, I don't know. After looking at it, this outside passer here was pretty vicious. Hmm. Whew. Well, I'm very interested in seeing the game review for this. Game friend. Oof, my heart's beating. Let's look at this game review and see just how poorly I played that. I had a blunder, one blunder, four great moves, one mistake. One mistake, one blunder. So not like my worst game ever. The opening was definitely a challenge. Both of us played 2100 level, and his uh, end game suffered. All right, so Dead Black definitely had the edge. That graph is shows a drastic swing in the end. That blunder saved me. So here we are in a 1 hour French, I think, or we transposed to a Steinitz something or other. I do believe this was recently played in the World Championship, which is why it was fresh on my mind. It liked that move. It did want me to push this, but I saw that move and I wanted to wait for some reason. I don't remember why. Queen here first was the better option, and I was expecting that. I should have brought the bishop out now. And it was a blunder for me to take. Blunder, blunder, blunder. Okay. It was better for me just to bring the bishop back. That's a hard move to see. Just bring the bishop back. Huh. I'll have to study this line a bit because it does give up the pawn in the middle. Uh, but I wasn't really panicked. I mean, and this was my mistake. I should have brought the queen up to defend f2 and left the knight defending. So both pieces would have been defended. That would have blocked in my bishop, which would have been a difficult thing to do, and it would have hung b2. Hmm. All right, so I'm down 2 pawns here. 2.9 on the eval bar. Black is just winning. And here he forces queens off the board. I'm finding good moves, though. Is that king move? It was good. I wanted him to lift the rook. I don't know why. Maybe bring it over. Attack b2. It also defends e6. This knight maneuver was the best one. That was the best move. I wanted to go f4 here, and I felt like that was a better option. So what's eval if I just go f4 immediately? Not much of a difference. Still an excellent move. It's 2/10 on the eval bar, 2/10 difference. So let's go back to analysis. Review. Let's go back to review. King coming forward. I wanted me to go back here with the knight. Again, that's a difficult. Oh man. I mean, this is a pretty good square for the knight. F4 here was best. And that was an error. And I like the fact that he let me trade off that. I mean, this invitation of the fork, uh, my opponent just got a little hasty and didn't recognize the fact that I would love to get that knight off the board because his bishop's going to be terrible. But he's still 2 pawns up and has a winning position. It's just a challenge for him to convert. Hmm. Should have only done one. Maybe for the extra tempo. Seemed right to just leave my pawns on light squares game. Um, and this was another uh, erroneous move here. Mistake. Thinks I should have remaneuvered over here, which I can't say is a terrible idea, locking the pawns in, but somewhere in here he makes a blunder. Even here he's still got a pawn edge on the eval. He should have pushed here to convert. This was a mistake. And that was a what's the difference here again? That's an error. I don't remember how it differentiates. Okay, my great moves are all king moves here, recognizing that I've got to chase the pawn. This was not a blunder, but a mistake. I should have gone two. I should have forced him to take because he could just. I don't know. What does he do? I should have forced him to take because he could push this. That's what. Okay, that makes perfect sense. He pushes here, and I've got to chase, and then he takes, and I can't tackle both of these pawns. Eeh, I nearly gave it away there. I should have pushed twice to force him to take. Ouch. But this is a dead draw. This is a dead draw right here. Um, until he blunders and tries to snack on these pawns. Um, oh, he should have taken. Why should he have taken? Because I have to go here with the king to stop this. Because if he gets here, that's over. So if he takes, I have to waste a king move. Maybe here, king here. And then he takes the other one, and then I start running. And it's a D queens with check. Wait a minute. Did I get that right? Takes here, takes here, 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 here. Okay. No, I didn't get it right here. That first arrow was a king, queen, and then he does with check. So maybe I do go here. Maybe I go here so he doesn't get to queen with check. Anyway, it would have been a draw. It would have been a draw, but he didn't take. And I just get to gobble up pawns and checkmate. Well, not the cleanest game. Relatively high level, though, for my first game back in weeks. So Got to 1967. See if we can't keep climbing. Thanks for coming to watch. I hope you all enjoyed it. Come back and watch some more chess, hopefully in the near future.